Hello, this is Becky Hammond with Isogo and trying us out here. Hopefully you are seeing me horizontally this week. I wasn't very happy with the whole iPhone orientation from last week, so we'll see how this goes. I'm sure you really care. But I am excited to join you here again today, this week. This is our regular check-in time. Wednesdays at 1:30 Eastern, that's 10:30 Pacific, and all sorts of other 30s throughout the world. Hey, Johnny Lynn, thanks for jumping in today. I am just excited about today's conversation. We are on to step 3 of our 9 steps towards life change through your strengths. Oh, someone's telling me the video is sideways, like maybe I'm actually sideways. Let's see. Annie Lynn. I'm going to actually turn that. Johnny Lynn saying the same way. The same thing. So we're going to go this way and see what happens. So that's awesome. David just hopped on as well. Yes, he's seeing me sideways too. So you know what? We're going to go this way and see what happens. Yep, looking better. Thanks, folks. But I am excited about the step 3. Step 3 is fun because it starts getting other people involved in your own step and your process through to use your own strengths, your top 5 StrengthsFinder strengths for life change. And I've been talking to a lot of people recently about their stories of life change, and it's amazing to see how when you take those 5 strengths beyond the words on the page and you start to see how they've shown up in your life and how they can make a difference in how you live your life every day, the career transition that you're looking for, or the relationship that's been stuck that you really would like to change. It is possible, and it is not only possible, but within reach to be able to use how you're already wired to dramatically impact those things. And so today we are talking about that step 3. Step 3 is sharing your strengths with somebody else. It sounds pretty simple, but what makes the most sense to me is that our strengths are oftentimes like our strengths, or they are like our strengths are like our face. We walk around with our own faces every day. So if you just kind of stop for a second and visualize your own face, you know that you wake up with it every day. You know that it's a part of who you are. You know that you can affect people through your face. You can walk into a room and change the tone of a room. You can make someone's day with your face, or you can crush it. But yet, we don't walk around seeing visibly our face every day. We know it's there, we use it, but we don't see it unless we stop in front of a mirror, or we happen to glance in that, window as we're walking down the street to see, oh yeah, there it is. That's what it actually looks like. And so our strengths are very much like that. We wake up with them every day. We know that we have them somewhere, at least kind of subconsciously, we know that they're there. We have an idea that these are the things that we use to affect the rooms that we walk into and the projects that we're on and the life that we're leading. But yet, unless someone really reflects those back to us, we don't necessarily see them. We don't necessarily understand or see the way that they show up. Other people oftentimes are a much better mirror for our strengths than our own minds can be. So we start to be able to see what other people see. And so, we've talked about remembering to remember our strengths in step 1. We've talked about how do we really put them in our own words in step 2. And so in step 3, we are going to be sharing them with somebody else. And as I've thought about how I've shared my own strengths with people over the last 9 years or so that I've discovered this, since I discovered this StrengthsFinder concept, I realized that there were some things about myself that I didn't recognize as well as the other people around me were. And so there's a few different examples. One is from my mom. So my mom, when I shared with her about these types of things, my arranger strength stuck out to her. And she said that, I always have lived my life trying to be most efficient. That's definitely one of the things that a ranger brings to me. In fact, she gave me a nickname, Becky Efficiency, because I can't stand but to be the most efficient with the things that I do. And so I didn't see that as clearly as she did, and she was able to reflect it back to me. And since then, I've been able to use that more powerfully in my life. I also, my husband, just this last summer, we were driving and I was going through this same activity. I was, again, we've both known each other's strengths for a decade. I was reading him my StrengthsFinder report and just saying, okay, let's go through this again. Like, how do you see these things? Where do you see these things? And I had only gotten through partway through my achiever strength, reading him the description. And he started to interject and say, yes, I've seen this. Oh yeah, remember when you used to ask me to make myself useful? That wasn't exactly the right method to get him to jump on board onto my to-do list, but I didn't have that. I didn't have his mirror. I didn't have this concept to be able to describe what my strengths were and what the need was that was underlying those strengths that made me say something like, make yourself useful. I mean, who loves to be told that, right? And then he also said, do you remember when you used to hate it when I used to try to nail you down on when you would be home from work? I couldn't tell him. I didn't want to tell him, well, it'll be by 8 or maybe it'll be before 10 p.m. I didn't want to be constrained. And so that was only halfway through my achiever strength that I was reading to him, and he was able to reflect back to me in a way that I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even remember that. And I didn't connect that kind of angst to the fact that I have this strength and talent that's within me. And so those are just a couple examples of in my life where the mirror has been reflected back to me and things that probably I knew about myself, but I didn't really recognize that other people saw, and that I could be using them in a more productive way. Sometimes they were being overused or used in a way that I was so unaware of that I wasn't using it for good. It was like using it for evil instead of good, and I wanted to flop that and use them for good instead of evil. So this step 3 for you is about, no matter how long you've known your strengths, whether it's been as of this morning or a decade ago or longer, to renew your commitment to letting other people be a mirror in your life. And it has to be pretty intentional. And I even recommend just getting out your report again and saying, reading through, like, hey, can I sit down with you and read these descriptions to you so that you can reflect back to me what you hear and what you've seen in me and where these things have shown up. You could also use your activity from last week from step 2. You've already started to put these things into your own words. So as you're owning them and claiming these top 5, if you can describe your strengths to somebody else in your own words, even better. So that you can practice describing who you are, and then they can act as that mirror of your strengths. So that you don't go around just walking with your strengths and not being really aware of what they are and how they come across, but that you can really have an accurate idea of how other people perceive them and how you can start to use them proactively in your life for the impact, the change that you're looking for. I am really glad for all of you who joined on today, and I look forward to hearing. I'm going to post over in the Energy Up, Frustration Down Facebook page this conversation, and we can keep the dialogue going. Who has been your mirror in your life? Or who do you think would be the best mirror for you going forward that you can share your StrengthsFinder report with, so that you can continue to move along this path on these steps towards significant life change through your strengths. So the link for the blog post for this week's step 3 and the details of that are in the comments here in the description of this broadcast, as well as a link in that blog post to a 9-step checklist to lead yourself down the road towards life change through your strengths. So I hope that you go over there and pick that up as well. So thanks again for all these who joined us. Thank you, Henry or Jennifer, who's on there right now. I really appreciate that and your continued support. So I will be seeing you next time. Hopefully not sideways. And I'll see you next week. We will be meeting the day before Thanksgiving. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.